Yeah, just get comfortable, man, and pull it towards you wherever the hell you want it.
Talking to the dick.
The big black dick.
The big black dick. Break you off a piece of my dick.
Yeah, man. It's going to be good to sit and catch up.
Yeah.
I like chatting with you.
Of course. Did you start recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going.
Here we go. And we're live.
We're live.
There's no other 3. None of that.
You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun.
All the youngsters listening to this podcast are like, what is that? What is this?
Right?
What are they humming?
Yeah, they don't fucking know cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, by the way, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Yeah. I fucking love Voodoo Ranger.
I know. Just kind of discovered it like last year and was like, this is fucking good beer.
You've never had their Imperial before?
I think I have. Yeah.
By the way, we do not get anything from Voodoo Ranger. We're not affiliated with them in any way. There's no advertising here. Blah, blah, blah.
Ah, gosh, Dave, I'm thirsty. Good thing I have a Voodoo Ranger. Reach out if you want to sponsor Guys in the Garage podcast.
Yeah, no shit, right? I'd take a sponsor from Voodoo Ranger. No, it is good, though. I had this first time probably like 2018. So I took a trip to Vegas because I have an uncle who lives down there. And it was the only time ever that me and my brother and my dad have all been able to like get together. Mm-hmm. And so we just randomly took a trip down there and stayed for 4th of July week and just hung out in my uncle's pool. He has a fridge in his garage that's filled with nothing but beer, like all different kinds. Anything you can think of, he's probably got it in there. It was almost empty by the time we left because we just hung out in the fucking pool in the hot tub all night, every night. After fucking around, we went to Topgolf. We did so much shit. I can't remember now. Topgolf was probably one of the best. It's funny because my dad had left to go to the bathroom at one point, and you pay by the hour. And so the timer ran out at one point, and it pops up a little message that says like, oh, do you want to go longer or are you done? And my brother was fucking hammered, and he just like hits the fucking thing for another hour. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's on Dad's credit card. And he was like, well, he fucking walked away. I don't know. So we just kept playing, and then by the time we were done, I think the bill was like over $400 or $500. Oh shit! And he gets the fucking receipt, and he's like, "Oh, some of you motherfuckers are gonna help pay for this."
Well, here's the thing: I don't actually have a job.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Need your lawn mowed? Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. We got fucking hammered that whole week,
dude. I've still never.
It's probably why I don't remember much of it.
I've still never even been to Vegas, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
They have a lot of cool shit there. We just went through there on our trip to Texas. We went to, let's see, we went to Real Bodies, which is it's like a museum exhibit, but it's all real human bodies, and they're all Asian, of course. So it's probably fucking people from China that like checked the box to donate their body to science, but of course they weren't told like, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to be filleted and splayed open in front of like millions of people for money. But they pull everything apart. And so like there's this one where all the muscle tissues are all pulled out, and it's almost like it's on kebabs, but it's all splayed out so you can see how everything connects and shit like that. It's fucking rad.
That's crazy.
There's one where like the whole back, the spine is cut open, and then most of the vertebrae in the spine are removed except for the major ones. And it was funny because Rachel was geeking out the whole time because like she's
a nerd.
Well, she's an anatomy nerd, yeah. You know? because of what she does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she was all like, "Oh wow, that's so cool. See, this is
fine. Look at the muscles. I want to massage them. I must massage them.
Yeah, this is the C1, and that's the C3 vertebrae, and blah, blah, blah. And this does this, and this holds this up, and this is how you're able to move your neck."
It's like,
wow, okay.
So in other words, it's like any dude that walks into a garage and looks at a fucking car that's torn apart. It's like,
yeah, pretty much
that part and that part, and that's nice. She's just like that with human bodies.
Pretty much.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Her in that exhibit, like you're saying, is the equivalent of walking into a guy's garage filled with parts. And he's like, yeah, and up on this shelf here, I got a carburetor for a 63 Nova. And you're like, oh, okay.
I have no idea what you're saying, but all right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was cool though to see, like, because they had like this whole hallway that's just human hearts. And they're
weird.
They're cut in different sections.
It sounds pretty macabre.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Yeah,
but it's fucking rad. And so, like, you go through this hallway, and each little thing is like a plexiglass box with a hand that's holding a human heart. And each one is cut in different ways to show you the different chambers and how everything works and shit.
Weird.
It's fucking cool.
Weird.
Like the whole vascular system in your leg. So they had one like glass case with that whole thing, like no skin, no muscle, no nothing, just the vascular system. Somehow they pulled everything out, all the veins, all the capillaries, everything, and somebody took the time, which is probably like painstaking hours, to put everything in the right place and like glue it or something to make it stay in shape, and then like keep it all together. And it's fucking rad. And you're like, ugh, God, that's inside of me right now. Oh, it makes you want to cut your leg off. It's fucking crazy.
The human body is insane.
Yeah.
There's just so much to it. Like there's not a machine in the world that I believe that there's not a machine in the world that the human brain could even comprehend or even build to even come close to replicating the human body. I mean, you watch all the sci-fi movies with like the androids and stuff like that, and it's like, maybe someday we'll get to that point, but there's just so much to the human body that even doctors who have been doing, who have been in the line of work for 20, 25, however long years, they still learn things on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's insane. The human body is insane. One of the things that when I was in the military and they were teaching us, about working on cars and stuff like that, they really talked up the mechanics, right? Like, you guys are awesome. You guys are nobody wants to fuck with the mechanics because, you're the guys that keep everyone moving, right? You guys keep the patrols moving and all that stuff. And so nobody wants to fuck with you. But the people that even the mechanics trust are the medics. Because the medics or the doctors, the people who work on the human body, because yes, the human body is like a big machine in and of itself, and those people do work on them, but there's just so much more to learn. But one thing they did say is, hey, the one thing we got over them is that we're more important because the human body can heal itself. A fucking car can't heal itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. That's true, but I mean, I would almost say that the medics are more important because maybe.
Well,
not.
no, they definitely.
Because if you die, then they just throw another fucking grunt at the car, and
right?
Like, yeah, fix that shit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, the human body can heal itself, but it's not like tearing into a fucking carburetor and just changing out the jets and then throw it back in there,
right?
And you're all greasy, and like if you drop it on the floor, as long as it's not made of brass or something, then it's probably not going to break, at least not too much,
right?
But like if you accidentally move that scalpel just a little bit the wrong way,
oh god, oh fuck, yeah, that was a mistake.
And then you're trying to put all the fucking blood back in, and
then you're counting down to 10. I got 10 seconds to fix this, or he dies. Yeah.
It's almost like, it is kind of like playing Operation, right? Because that fucking thing, it's all beep, 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 and you're like, oh shit, shock him.
Oh god, oh boy.
And then it starts beeping again. And you're like, okay, I think we're good. Wait. All right, we're good.
Crazy.
Yeah, so we did that, and then so that was at the Horseshoe, and then it's funny because when I was looking up real bodies, I knew at one point from back in when I went in 2018 that they had the real bodies exhibit at the Luxor, and when I pulled it up on Google, it wasn't showing it there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it must have moved then because it was only showing at the Horseshoe. So we went there, and then after we got done there, I was like, well, do you want to go to this one or this one? And we ended up deciding to go to the Titanic exhibit, which was at the Luxor. So we get there, and they have the Titanic and real bodies literally right next to each other.
Okay.
And so I think I paid like $38 to get to the real bodies, and then it was $38 to get into Titanic. But if you did them both at the Luxor, it was $48 total for both of them.
All of these bodies in this museum were on the Titanic.
That would have been fucking rad. Nah, yeah. Skeletons and shit.
Yeah, right.
No, the Titanic exhibit was fucking rad though, because they had like dishes and personal belongings and like all the shit that they've dug up from the actual site for like the last 20, 30 fucking years. Mm-hmm. Like all of that stuff they have displayed in different cases. And then each section was done up like really nicely to resemble actual sections of the ship. So when you first walk in, you go into this hallway, and the hallway is the same. It's set up exactly the same to look like if you were walking down the second class hallway on like deck 3 of the ship.
Right.
And then they have these little placards and pictures that show you, and I'm guessing it's based on what they know from the manifest. But so like you're walking down this section of hallway, and it's got all these doors, which would have been rooms. And so room 1C, they've got a placard of the person who stayed in that room. And so it gives you all the info that they know, at least, I'm sure, about that person and like who it was that stayed in that room. It's pretty fucking rad how much detail they went into on the whole thing. And then you go into another section, and it's also like a timeline. So you start here, you know, and that hallway tells you about some people, and then it's giving you information about when they left the first port after the ship was put into the fucking ocean. And then it goes through the whole thing about how it was built, who commissioned it, who designed it, all that stuff. Like, so if you've seen the movie with fucking Leonardo and what's her face, like you kind of understand a lot of what's going on, because it turns out that movie wasn't actually far off from what actually happened.
Well, no,
as far as what the museum has going on for their timeline.
Even back in the day when that movie came out, when did that movie come out?
Fuck, I don't know.
2000?
No, it was like
2001.
It was like mid to late 90s. I don't know. We got a fucking computer right here.
Well, either way, I mean, even back then, you heard about how accurate that movie was. Like, they really did go a long way to get it historically accurate as possible.
Yeah.
With some creative licensing, of course.
Well, yeah, of course. I think it was it James Cameron directed or some shit?
Yeah.
No, but each section just kind of moves on in the timeline.
What does that say?
Let's see, Titanic.
97. There it is.
Yeah, 97.
Yep.
Yeah, so late 90s.
Goddamn, Dave, we're fucking old, man.
Right?
PG.
The fuck was I doing in 97?
I was hanging out with girls who were crying to this movie, even though it was the 20th time they saw it. Right. I mean, that's what I remember about that.
I would have been 13, and I would have been, that
sounds about right.
I would have been 13 and probably trying to finger fuck the first chick.
Right.
Like ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Still a virgin. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hoping and praying.
Right.
Living on a prayer.
Right.
I think for me, like the coolest part of that whole exhibit, besides they had so the part where it tells you about the actual iceberg and all that blah blah blah, it was a giant room that had all of a bunch of instruments that would have been in the wheelhouse, like the actual like big compass and shit like that. It's funny because they were talking about how the guy in the crow's nest, just like in the movie, he didn't have any binoculars, and that's because some asshole fucking misplaced them at the last port they were at.
I heard that.
So if he had the binoculars, he would have seen it a lot sooner, and they probably would have been able to miss it.
Yeah.
Because some asshole decided to put it in the wrong fucking bin. They didn't have them.
I had heard a couple of weird things about the Titanic recently, and they're not coming to mind. Honestly, there was some conspiracy theory about like how the Titanic was sunk on purpose because of the people that were on it or whatever. They were bankers or something.
Well, yeah, because you have Guggenheim. And you have, I think Rothschilds were on it.
Yeah, it was something to do with that. Yeah. I don't remember the details.
There's a lot.
I remember hearing it and going, yeah, you know, that kind of fucking tracks.
Kind of, yeah.
It kind of does.
I think one of the latest.
It's one of those conspiracy theories that for me personally, I hear it. And I don't necessarily like believe it right off the bat because obviously, you know, there's no solid like proof or evidence or anything for that, but it's like if it turns out that it was true, would I be surprised? No, I would not fucking be surprised if it turned out to be true.
Well, I mean, fuck, if you look at every other conspiracy in fucking human existence, not just in the US, which I mean there are some fucking nasty ones just in the US alone,
right? Especially
ones where shit becoming declassified and you know, like public information now because of the Freedom of Information Act and shit. Like, our own government does some pretty fucked up shit, and that's another episode that I've been wanting to do as a conspiracy episode.
I'm down for a conspiracy
but we're not we're not the only ones. Like every government that has ever been in power has been like, oh, we want to test this new version of anthrax. Well, where are we going to do that at? Because we don't want to start a war. Fuck it, we'll just kill our own people. It's not like they'll ever know.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Right. The friend that I was hoping would join us today, very much into the whole, you know, what is it called? I can't think of it. There's a video of Hillary Clinton and someone like abusing really badly, torturing, and then basically devouring a kid. And I'm just like, okay, well, I haven't seen this video.
Adrenochrome.
That's yeah. And I'm like
sucking the blood out of scared children.
Pretty much.
Which it kind of tracks off of the whole thing about like I think it's China where, you know, they eat dogs, but it's actually a delicacy where they take dogs and they put them in kennels and they fucking beat them and they fuck with them and they scare the shit out of them.
Weird.
Right? Because they think that the adrenaline that they exude when they're fucking afraid and in fear actually makes the meat taste better.
Right. Well, so that's what I'm saying, right? So it's like, there's no like, I haven't seen any solid like proof that this is a true thing, but it's like, if it turned out to be true, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm not surprised. I mean, I knew they were fucking evil. They're evil people.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of evil people. And when you think about...
No, but like evil people. Like from movies.
You think they're like...
from the movies, evil.
Yeah.
Like...
But do you think they're like...
I'm the politician that sacrifices children and then wears their face on my... Or where's their... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like...
Wears their face like a cookie mask that I do my little cookie dance.
Right, yeah. You hear all kinds of crazy theories like that. And... like, I don't know, I'm a logical minded person, so it's like, okay, well, I'm not just gonna out and out believe it. I don't have any proof. Where's the proof?
Right.
Like, I want to see an investigation. I want them to be tried. I want some proof.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not just gonna outright believe it, but I am going to be I'm going to be open. I'm going to be open to it because if it turned out to be true, I would not be fucking surprised.
Yeah, you're not just gonna outright believe that Tom Hanks and his wife and like, you know,
I'm not going to try and convince every fucking new person that I meet that this is a thing because I don't know if it's actually
Charlie,
a thing.
It's real. It's real, Charlie.
Yeah, right. You're not paying attention.
No, I mean, when you cheers. Nice whiskey. Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, a lot of it sounds kind of far-fetched, right?
Because, I know, right?
Because when you think about it, you're like, why? But again, when you look at a lot of the evil fucking shit that our own government has done to people, like sending vaccines to what is it, Mexico or Spain? Fuck, I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
For the Spanish flu that turned out to actually have agents in it that sterilized women. Not to mention,
let's go back to Vietnam. Agent Orange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Operation Sea Spray, where they literally parked a fucking battleship off the coast of San Francisco and released some kind of fucking airborne agent into the air and poisoned a lot of people.
Weird.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, within a few weeks, they had people showing up with bladder infections and lung infections in hospitals, and several people fucking died. And they were all like, oh, God, this is weird. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
They couldn't figure it out. And then all of a sudden it stopped.
Right.
Out of nowhere. And then come to now, and shit has been declassified. And they're like, oh, yeah, we did that. Sure. Yeah, that was us.
Yeah.
We totally did it.
Oh, but it wasn't us, because that was 60 years ago.
Right.
It was all them.
Yeah.
It wasn't us.
So what are
We're
you
the
doing?
ones releasing the information to you guys now that they did that stuff.
Yeah. It's almost a ploy to be like, yeah, here's what the government did a long time ago, but we would never do anything like that. And we want to be transparent with you. So we're going to let this stuff out so you know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, release the JFK files.
The JFK files?
Chirp. Yeah, the JFK, like, who was behind the JFK assassin? No, they haven't.
I thought they did.
No.
Okay, either
files have not been released. The closest we've gotten so far was in Trump's last presidency, and he was like, I've seen them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not releasing them. Because now, during this campaign, he's like, I will release them now, especially after getting the endorsement from RFK Jr.
Yeah, from Robert.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He got the endorsement, and now he's all, I'm going to release the JFK files, everybody.
Yeah. No, I swear that I read or heard something recently, and this is how fucking dumb I am that I can't even think of what it is. So nobody fucking quote me on this, but I swear to God, they actually declassified a bunch of shit. And it turns out that we were right. The CIA killed fucking JFK because JFK wanted to eliminate the CIA. And that had to do with, it had to do with a lot of, I think it was the Bay of Pigs shit and something else that he disapproved of. He was like, yeah, that's fucked up. Why do we even need the CIA? Let's get rid of the CIA. And then they were like, well, we don't really need you.
Right.
There'll be another one just like you tomorrow.
Right.
So they fucking used what's his face, Lee Harvey, as a fucking patsy.
Yeah.
Or whatever. They probably told him some shit like, yeah, we're gonna find your entire family and we're gonna fucking shoot them all right in front of you and then beat your wife with the family fucking dog if you don't do this.
Who's the father again? Rand Paul or Ron Paul? I think it's Ron Paul. He's the dad, right?
I believe so. I don't know. We could look it up.
I get them mixed up sometimes. Ron. One of them's still in office. The other one's retired.
Rand Paul, Ron Paul.
Ron Paul is Rand Paul's dad. He said something.
Ron Paul is senior.
Yeah. So he said something that I heard somewhat recently. I don't think he said it recently, but I heard it somewhat recently. And he straight up believes that when the CIA assassinated JFK, allegedly, that is when basically the shadow government.
Oh yeah, there it is. Ron Paul's his father.
Made their coup on the United States. That was basically the last legitimate president who actually had power. That was when the parties actually had power and our votes actually mattered, blah, blah, blah. Once they assassinated...
You're talking about JFK?
Yeah, once they assassinated JFK, the shadow government has been running things since.
Well, yeah.
And that's what he said. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. I mean, I thought, to me, it's like, oh, well, they've been running things since I started paying attention, which was, 10 years ago maybe. But... No, it's like it was way before I was born. They've been running shit.
But they believe that the shadow government has been running it since Reagan, or at least that's when it became more apparent. Have you ever seen that shit?
No.
So apparently, Reagan was absolutely a fucking puppet. And like he didn't really have any power whatsoever, but there's supposedly this like at his inauguration there was some random guy that nobody can identify. They're like, who the fuck is this dude? Like he's not in the Senate, he's not, White House staff, like he's a doesn't exist. He's a fucking nobody, but he's there at the inauguration. And at least once or twice during Reagan's speech or something, he's like whispering shit into Reagan's ear. Or something like I don't know, or maybe to somebody else behind him. But people are like, oh yeah, he's probably one of the lizard people that's from the Illuminati
people.
That's really controlling everything and telling him what to say and pulling the fucking puppet strings.
Fucking lizard people.
That's Hillary Clinton's dad.
Fucking lizard people trying to eat all of our cats and dogs and shit.
Well, if you get them scared enough, they taste good.
Douchebag lizards.
Do you think the lizard people taste like alligator?
Probably.
Because I've had fried alligator and it's pretty fucking good.
Or do they taste like human? Or a mix?
Good question.
It's a mix of the two.
I'd like to find out.
A little bit of snake, a little bit of pig. Just saying. No idea.
Pork lizards.
I don't know, Dave. I've never eaten a lizard person.
Have you ever eaten a lizard? Like
no,
a chameleon or
no, I never have. No, I never have.
Me neither, so I guess I can't say.
I'm not opposed to eating weird things, though.
Yeah. I mean, me neither necessarily. I guess I don't know. It depends on what it is.
I mean, I've heard snake is real easy to fucking prepare and eat, and it tastes delicious. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen it on fucking Bear Grylls enough times.
You just fucking just throw it on the fire.
You slice it down the center, and then you fucking peel the skin off, and then you throw it on a swizzle stick and wrap it around a few times.
Take the meat off and watch for the bones. Yeah,
yeah.
Basically,
it's more meat than a squirrel.
Well, true. Wow, depends on the size of the snake.
That's true. If it's a gardener snake, you're probably not going to get much meat. Nope. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of fucking shit that's been coming to light just recently, and I want to say they finally admitted that Roswell was aliens.
Yeah, touching on that, it seems like the powers that be are really starting to kind of set us up and get us used to the idea that there are some kind of extraterrestrial beings that are around. They're not really saying like from another planet or anything like that, like the government changing the UFO into UAP. Like that's a
right.
Like if you really think about it, that's a big step right there.
Unidentified.
Yeah, because they're not like it used to be like UFO. You guys are fucking crazy.
You're fucking
now they're like, no, it's not UFO, it's UAP.
Yeah, that
right there is them basically admitting that this is a fucking thing. This is real.
It could be aliens.
Oh, by the way,
we're not saying aliens.
Here's some footage from one of our fucking Navy aerial practices that we did, and it's just like that fucking Tic Tac flying around, and they're trying to target it. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's too fucking fast. I can't fucking target it. Yeah. So I mean, they're definitely setting us up for it, and that in and of itself makes me a little bit suspicious. It's like, okay, why are they setting? Why do they want us to be ready for this? I
think it's like a fraud.
Why do they want us to be ready for this? If they're friendly,
right?
It's like, okay, cool. I mean, sure, maybe they're friendly and they want us to be ready to accept them as friendly, right? Okay, maybe that's it. But what have they done? I don't know. You hear stories from people. And you've heard stories growing up your whole life about aliens, right?
Yeah.
How many of those have been good stories?
I mean, not many.
Right? Like you can't really think of any like good stories of people having encounters with these beings, right?
E.T.
That's fake. That's Steven Spielberg, bro. Mac and me. So
Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good one. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I'm just rambling off old Disney movies at this point.
So you haven't heard many good stories, but they seem to be getting us ready for accepting this as a reality. And so that worries me, right? Like, okay, so if they are getting us ready to accept this as a reality, but then we've also heard all these stories. I mean, are all those people making these stories up? And they all sound the same. Like, a lot of the stories have a lot of things in common, a lot of details and stuff like that. And so, I mean, any logical person would say, well, I mean, there's got to be something to this, right? Because they all sound the same, if not similar, in a lot of ways. And so if now all of a sudden the government is trying to get us used to the idea that these things might be real, it's like, well, why? But I've only heard bad stories, so what are we getting prepared for exactly?
We're preparing for the reptilians to take over.
Right. I mean, and some people might want that. I don't know. Maybe.
Some people do. Actually, it's funny because I would bet that a lot of people actually do, right?
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, deep at heart, a lot of people, in some manner, want us to be taken over by aliens.
Oh, bro.
Because with the way things are going now, and how we're already controlled by the people that we supposedly vote for, right? They probably look at it as like, anything's fucking better than this. Not to mention that the society that we've built today, right? We've lost our patriotism in every sense of the word. I think, in my opinion, we have, because so many people now, we can't just think for ourselves, dude, and do for us, right? And for our family. We have this desire, because of our increased amount of comfort, to just be told what to do every day, because it's way easier than having to figure it out on your own.
Comfort, bro. We had that talk.
We have had this talk. Comfort. It's a huge fucking thing, and it plays into it. It plays into a lot of that stuff. But you ask why now does it seem like they're starting to admit all of this shit and be like, oh yeah, well, there's aliens are fucking real. Yeah, it's a thing.
I have a theory.
Well, the theory is, right, like you're talking about, they're slowly preparing. It's like the frog in the hot plate, right? Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember like Sega Saturn, the video game console?
Yeah, vague. Like,
okay, so
a little bit.
Okay, right. Not a lot of people do, actually, and a thing that I was reading a while ago, I can't remember who did the fucking study. God, I can never remember this stuff. It was talking about how the Sega Saturn, when it came out, it had some of the greatest fucking graphics of its time. Actually, just a hair better than the PlayStation 1. Almost to the level of PS2. But it didn't sell very well, and so it didn't last long, right? It kind of came and it went away. And they think the reason for that is because it was too far ahead of its time. Because as a society, at that point in time, we still couldn't comprehend the level of jump in our technology. Whereas today, we come out with a brand new fucking iPhone and shit every other week. So to us, it's like, oh yeah, I can actually send text messages and emails while I'm taking a shit and make a fucking turkey sandwich at the same time. Awesome, cool, I'm down, right? But so now we don't give a fuck. But back at that time in the mid to late 90s, we were still at a point where we just couldn't handle it. It was too much. It basically blew our fucking minds to have something jump from NES to Sega Saturn.
Sure.
Whoa, what is this? Not to mention the fact that it was probably way too fucking expensive. People couldn't afford it, I'm sure. Right. But so when you look at it in that context, they not only has our technology been slowly preparing us to be able to accept bigger and brighter jumps in things, now they're also, I think, another point that they're trying to do is they're trying to quell us in a certain way. Right? Because if you notice, people that were always the fucking alien conspiracists and shit like that, right? Or anything else, JFK conspiracists and all that stuff. It's the same thing as when you take your children out shooting when they're young, right? And you let them blow up targets and bottles full of colored water and pumpkins and whatever else. In my opinion, you don't have to worry so much about your kids fucking around with your guns. Yes, you should still keep them locked up. You should be responsible and all that stuff, but you don't have to worry as much because you've taken away that curiosity. So when you start admitting to all of this shit, like, yeah, that alien or craft, whatever it was that landed in Roswell, yeah, it really was fucking aliens back in 1950 something. Yep, it was. So you take away that curiosity and you quell people and you prepare them for the next step, which could be God knows what else. So, I mean, I don't know exactly where I'm going with this, but I think that's what's going on. You talk about them like almost admitting, if not actually admitting to stuff and preparing us for something. And I think that's what they're doing is they have figured out psychologically that the more they tell us, yes, that's real, that really happened, then the less we want to storm Area 51. Because now we know, okay, aliens are real. More than likely, they're storing them at Area 51. Who fucking cares? That was so 2018, whatever it fucking was. Like, who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean?
So
you take that curiosity away. And so it's like, oh, yeah, we were right. Okay, what's next? On to the next thing. I got to go back to work.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, the problem now is, you know, like you said, the comfort whole situation. It's like, especially men.
Well, yeah. Everything goes.
You know, men are supposed to be the leaders in our society. We're supposed to, you know, we're supposed to run shit. We are. We're supposed to be the leaders, and we're and we're supposed to be the providers and the protectors and all that stuff. But we've become too complacent.
Right. Unfortunately, we can't even be the leaders in our own families anymore.
Yeah. Hence the reason for feminism. Now we hear about aliens, and we're like, I want to see the Seahawks play. Who are they playing? You know what I mean?
Right.
We got our bread and circus.
Right.
And that's what we're interested in. Is our bread and circus.
Now you're getting into the fucking Roman shit.
Well, yeah, that's what the Romans did with the fucking Colosseum.
That is what they fucking did. They gave everybody free. It's funny because we were watching.
This is what China figured out after Tiananmen Square.
Oh yeah,
is that as long as they provide their people with these, you know, commodities and these comforts, they won't be so upset that they're totally fucking ruled over and told how to live on a daily basis.
Right.
As long as they have those comforts and those commodities and that entertainment, they won't rebel. And that's exactly what's happening to especially the men in America. Not just the men, but the women too. But it's mostly the men because it's our fucking job to keep an eye out for that stuff.
Yes.
And call it out when it's happening and fix it. But we're not, because we've become too comfortable. We like it too much. We like the NFL. We like working on our motorcycles. We like fucking video games or whatever, movies,
don't talk about
stuff like that. Hey, no, I love you, man. I'm just saying. And so, you know, when you start, I think that's why they're starting to bring it out now. UAPs, aliens, all that stuff. It's, hey, you know, this actually turns out we've been lying the whole time, and it's actually kind of true, because right now we're all just kind of like, well, can't be bothered with that. I got my own shit to take care of.
Yeah. I think in the most base sense, what it breaks down to is they're not afraid of us anymore.
They're not.
And that's a huge problem.
Yes. Well, okay, so yes and no. I agree to an extent. They are still afraid of us. And the reason I think so is because of the Second Amendment. In the United States, the Second Amendment is basically the only thing that is keeping them from just straight up going door to door, being like, you know, who are you? What's your fucking occupation? What's your fucking blood type? Blah, blah, you know, all that stuff. And just basically regulating us like cattle. Second Amendment's the only thing that's stopping them from just straight up doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
they have to do it subtly and slowly right now. And they have gotten to this point to where they've almost basically won. Right? I mean,
to a point,
I think I've mentioned it on a podcast before. You know, during COVID, they were like, all right, guys, if you want your kids to go to school, you got to put a fucking face diaper on them.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that the other day, actually, how fucked up
40,
it was.
50 years ago, men would have been like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I will fucking kill you over this.
No, they did that during the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
Because they tried the same tactics then. They were like, oh, you got to put diapers on your face. Oh, by the way, we're going to roll out this fucking vaccine, which, you know, they only had limited technology for vaccines based on fucking smallpox at the time. So
COVID was the test run.
Yeah.
It was.
COVID was the test run for this era.
Yep.
Right? It's the same fucking
and
thing.
it succeeded. In eras past, it didn't succeed. Like you said, during the Spanish flu, they tried it and it didn't work.
I wouldn't necessarily say it succeeded.
It did succeed.
It succeeded.
There's still people coming into my work with fucking masks on, bro.
Oh yeah, I still see them all the fucking time.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Which, whatever. I'm not going to judge you if I've said it
I'll
before.
judge the shit out of you, especially right now if you're wearing a fucking mask. Like, stop.
I guess
stop.
in my own head. But look, when it comes to that kind of stuff, right? We talk about freedom, and if for you, right, and because we don't know everybody, maybe those people who are wearing masks, they already do have respiratory issues.
Sure, okay.
and they have to worry about that kind of shit. So that's why I say I don't judge people. Now, my first instinct when I see someone in a store wearing a mask is to be like, you fucking pussy ass bitch. But
which is judging, Dave. That's judging.
It is. But I'm not going to go up to them and start harping on them about how they're dumb for wearing a fucking mask.
Right.
Like so many fucking people did to anti-maskers during COVID.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You do you. If you feel that's what.
If you want to be fucking dumb, fine. I'm not going to tell you not to be dumb. I'm not going to give you shit for it. Fine.
Right. And of course, that's my first instinct too, right? That's the first thing I think of. But I also stop myself and I think, well, you know what? If that's what you feel you need for your health and safety, which I've said before is not covered in our Constitution, your health and safety is your own fucking responsibility. And it's not up to you or me or anybody else to tell anybody how they should live. So if you feel that's what's needed or necessary for your health and safety, go ahead and do it. Do I think you're a fucking moron? Sure, I do. Not knowing what... Somebody's here.
There's a dog barking.
I know, right? Not knowing what your health situation is and all that. Yeah, my first instinct is to be like, you fucking idiot. But whatever. I'm not going to get in your face and give you fucking shit about it.
Well, right. But the point we were getting to is that I guess the government or the powers that be created that scenario.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
If they didn't create the scenario of COVID being this global, super deadly Captain Trips pandemic, there wouldn't be these fucking
that's like the 50th
know-nothing idiots walking around wearing fucking face diapers still. There wouldn't be. If they didn't do it, there wouldn't be.
Right.
And they wouldn't have gotten the fucking poison jab 18 fucking times, even though it's not effective at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's the... There's a podcaster I listen to, and he said the virtue of this era in America is compliance.
Yeah.
If you aren't complying, then you're a horrible person. We all need to comply.
Yeah.
That's why, and now that COVID's done, now it's the whole fucking Ukraine thing, right? Or it's not even the Ukraine thing anymore. Like, the Ukraine thing's even old at this point. But for a minute, it was like everyone's got the Ukraine flag, and I stand with Ukraine, and I'm compliant with against Russia, even though they don't fucking know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They just fucking hear the talking points, and they're like, oh, I will comply.
Well,
and that's what it is. That's the virtue today is compliance. I want to. It's for the greater good, Dave. It's for the greater good.
Right, but that's virtue signaling based on people who have no idea who they really are.
Right.
So that all they want to do is fit in somewhere.
Right.
And
but either way,
the way that they think to do that is instead of thinking for themselves and saying, this is what I believe, fuck everybody else.
Right.
They just jump in with that lot.
Right.
Because they want to be accepted.
Yes.
Because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
When they go to sleep at night, they can put on their little blankie of,
and the powers that be know this.
Because I pretend to like stuff and agree with them, even though I really don't. Because I have no idea who I am and what I really want, what I think. But I'm going to put on this blankie because it feels so good to be loved and accepted.
That's control, right?
It is, yes.
Yes.
It's fucking stupid.
Yes. You know what? Stay at home. Stay at home. Put your face diaper on. And you know what? Here's some money. Don't even worry about work. We're going to go ahead and give you some money to take care of some bills and stuff. And there's this great show on Netflix. It's called Tiger King. Just watch it. Just hang out and watch that. That's it. And that's it. Boom. Millions of people automatically did it for months. For months they did it.
I watched Tiger King.
I did too. I did too. I did too. So I mean, it's like, okay, and
I do want to say that
they figured it out, bro. And now it's like, okay, well, now you try talking to those people. Now, I mean, a lot of people have woke up from it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people have recognized it.
Yeah.
A lot of people woke up and recognized what it is. It is what it is. And it's like, well, fuck that. That's not happening to me again.
Well, the real question, though,
there's still a lot of people out there who are like, no, that was the best. And I wish we could go back to that. And what the fuck are you talking about?
But Charlie, have they actually woke up, or do they, or have they just, have they actually woke up, or have they just gotten tired of it? And not in a way where they tell everybody like, yeah, you know what the fuck were we thinking? It's not like when you look at old fucking rock videos and shit like that from the 80s and you're like, holy fuck, sail-haired women, what the hell were we thinking? Why did we think that looked good? Right. You know, it's not like that.
No, it's different.
Yeah. They haven't woke up. It's just like, okay, we're on to the next thing.
True. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, no, I was referring to the people who have woken up from it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There are people who have, but
so on this,
not a lot.
On this trip that we just took down to Texas, I believe it was in San Antonio. It's somewhere down there. I know it was in Texas, and it had to have been near fucking Austin. Because I mean, I love Austin, but let's face it, it's become a fucking liberal stronghold.
Yeah,
we were on the freeway.
They just built a statue of a monkey god.
Yeah, they did.
What?
No, we were on the freeway, and I swear I saw somebody wearing a mask in their car, and I was like, "Come on, buddy.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
you're alone. It's you, and maybe whoever that other person is with you, who you probably know and have spent plenty of time with. Like, if you're gonna get it, you already got it." Why are you wearing a mask in your car?
I see whole families.
You're making us all look bad.
Whole families come into work with a mask on, dude. Mom, dad, and their kids, young kids wearing. I'm just like, I feel so bad for those kids. Right. I'm just like, God.
Yeah. But see,
those kids are going to grow up in fear.
Yes. Exactly.
Anytime I go out, I might catch a fucking virus. I got to put the mask on.
Yeah. Which only perpetuates the whole fucking thing about comfort.
Yeah.
Right. You put on your mask when you go out because it gives you those feelies, those special comfort feelies, or, oh God, I'm protected right now.
And then when they get
my mask and I've got my third jab and my booster, and
then when they get old enough and they come to me for a job and I hire them, they can only work these specific hours during the day because they need their sleep, or they need specific sleep during the day or whatever, and they also need an extra break because they get some anxiety and I have to take my meds for this or whatever. I got triggered by Karen saying it's just
triggered. I mean, I can't talk shit because there are things that trigger me too. I guess anything that
everybody gets triggered by something.
Off, but no, have you heard of this shit? Time blindness.
Time blind. I've heard of time blindness. Yes.
Yeah. Time blindness.
So stupid.
It is fucking stupid.
Fucking dumb.
Hold on. I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but this might be fun. Yeah. Time blindness. So people talk about now how they can't show up on time for anything because,
I don't want to live 9 to 5, paycheck to paycheck.
I wish I would have known this 20 years ago.
You don't know shit. Shut up.
Y'all, is your to-do list a graveyard of failed aspirations? Or maybe you have like this elaborate calendaring system that never works for you. Well, if those are things that you struggle with, then you are in the right place, because today I am talking about time management for ADHDers and people who want to get snizzled on, but they can't remember what it was they're supposed to do.
Did she say snizzle?
Note, let's get right into time
I think she
management
meant
for
to say
ADHDers and what you need to do to master your calendar and live your best damn ADHD life. And by the way, my name is Karen McGill.
Live your best damn ADHD life.
Okay, so in that aspect, right, when you look at it as an ADHD problem, I can almost kind of understand it, right? Because ADHDers, shit just kind of passes in one side and out the other, and it's hard for them to grasp stuff unless they find something that their brain resonates with that they can really actually focus on.
I kind of feel like ADHD is on the same level as time blindness at this point, honestly.
Well, ADHD is an actual thing.
ADHD, no, I mean,
but
why?
Time blindness.
When, where, why decided ADHD was a thing? It wasn't a thing when I was growing up.
Well, I mean, it was.
It was like, fucking pay attention. Let's go.
Right, but we hadn't.
And people did.
But we hadn't actually, like, really discovered what it was yet.
Okay, well, so then maybe time blindness is a thing. I don't know.
Back then, we figured out that this motherfucker just needs an extra cup of coffee and he'll be able to fucking concentrate, right? We didn't realize back then that, oh, if you pump them full of uppers, then it brings them down somehow.
Then maybe time blindness people just need some fucking meth and that'll be fine.
Maybe. Let's just give them hard drugs.
Right?
And they'll fucking be straightened out away.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is, where does it end?
No, yes, I get what you're saying.
We can come up with all kinds of fucking new fucking medical things for all these fucked up things that people do.
Yes.
Doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, no, it's the same
or
thing.
It doesn't necessarily give it doesn't give you a fucking pass.
Yes.
If I'm trying to have a conversation with you and you're having trouble paying attention and listening to me, that's rude.
Oh no, sorry, I have ADHD. I just have trouble paying attention to people.
No. Fuck off. I don't want to have a conversation with you anymore. Get the fuck out of my life.
Or how about you tell me the truth and just tell me I'm boring and it's hard for you to concentrate on what I'm trying to say.
Well, I would take that. I mean, just don't
have the respect of telling me that to my face instead of just sitting there going like, squirrel.
Can we just stop creating crutches for our fucking society?
Sorry, Charlie, I have ADHD. I can't hear you.
Just see? That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking people are creating crutches.
No, they are.
Or not necessarily. It's crutches, or it's I can't think of another time. I mean, it's like it. Well, I treated you like shit because something you said triggered me, and that's why I started acting out because I have trauma from blah blah. It's like, fuck off. Well, be responsible for your fucking actions.
Right, but that goes into the same shit of the maskers confronting anti-maskers in public places and literally throwing fucking shit fits at them because they're not wearing masks. It's like, again, you do you, let me do me. But that's not how they sold it, right? The government and all the fucking libtards and the fucking maskers sold it as, well, if you don't wear a mask, you're killing grandma and you're putting my life in jeopardy. Motherfucker, if your mask works and you've got 30 fucking jabs now, then how is me not wearing a mask in any way endangering you? If the shit works, then what are you afraid of?
That's not really what I'm saying. So ADD and ADHD was not a thing when I was younger.
I think it was, though. I think it was, and it just wasn't recognized.
No, it wasn't a thing.
Well, okay, maybe
listen,
it wasn't a thing.
Hear me out.
But we can go into all the shit that they put in our fucking food and everything else that has fucked people up royally.
Hear me out.
Now it's creating new problems that weren't there before.
Hear me out. Let me finish.
In that track, I think you're fucking onto something.
ADD and ADHD was not a thing when I was a kid. Okay, were there kids that had problems paying attention?
You're not that much older than I am, Charlie, and it was a thing when I was a kid.
No, it wasn't though. It wasn't. I mean, I guess it was. Like, it wasn't as prominent, and you never really heard about it. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't as talked about and shit like that. But there were kids when I was in school who had to leave class at certain times of the day to go take their fucking Ritalin, and then they'd come back and they were different.
The point I'm trying to make though is they didn't just let that kid do whatever he wanted because he had ADD or ADHD.
Yes.
It was like, no, you're going to fucking sit down and pay attention and shut the fuck up like the rest of the class.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn how to behave properly in this situation.
Yes. What you're talking about,
it's like, it's an excuse.
Right.
It's an excuse to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't have to be ADD or ADHD. Fill in the blank of whatever. There's all kinds of shit now, especially now with the fucking trauma and people have trauma. I'm not saying that that's not a thing, but I think that people can turn stupid situations into kind of a pillow or a crutch or a shield to where they can maneuver certain social situations to where they have an advantage where, I can't work so many hours because I have this anxiety, and I'm sorry, but I can't work past 4 hours. If I work past 4 hours, I start biting my nails until they bleed or some stupid shit.
Right.
I'm not smart enough to come up with any really good examples, but I think you get what I'm saying.
No. I've caught on to what you're talking about. And so I think what you're getting at is it's a part of our society that we've delved into, which is the overindulgence of tolerance. And what I'm saying is that, like you said, we let people just fucking get away with silly shit because we don't want people to feel bad. We are so caught up in managing everybody else's emotions and feelings that we can't just be like, hey, fucking pay attention. I understand that you have an issue. Okay, we'll figure out how to address that. And I think that is something that we should be doing, obviously, is not managing people's emotions and not managing people's feelings and everything else. Recognizing that there's an issue, but also confronting each and every person individually and been like, hey, I get it, you're having a hard time, but look, you need to fucking man the fuck up and deal with it. Does that make sense?
It does.
It's calling people out on their bullshit and letting them know, hey, you're a part of something that's greater than yourself and the world doesn't revolve around you, and you need to fucking be on board with what's going on here and now.
Right.
In reality.
I saw a video today.
It's the same as us letting people just run around saying that they can identify as literally anything.
Yeah, I saw a video today.
I can identify as seasons now. I'm autumn.
Yeah, I saw a video today. Someone was in an airport recording some dude with like a fucking squirrel tail and fucking ears in an airport, fucking like hopping around like a fucking animal. It's like, that's just, dude, what are you doing? This is a fucking airport.
Yeah.
Like, how about you go do your mental illness stuff somewhere else?
Yeah.
And I think, like, I don't know. I guess to me, that started way back here with, you have ADD and you have ADHD.
Yeah,
that's why you get to act out in class, and it's totally fine because you have ADD and ADHD.
Yeah, we've taken.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I've never accepted it.
We've taken the role.
When did it like? Where did it stop just being like, well, fuck, that's just how Dave is?
Because we've taken the role of, instead of accepting and treating, we've taken the role of just accepting and allowing.
I don't know. I think we're trying to play God.
To a point, yeah.
Yeah.
To a point, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
it's one thing to accept someone for the way they are, right? And to help them treat whatever condition it is. Because I'm sorry, if you're running around pretending that you're a fucking cat all the time.
It's not about overcoming the shit
but
that's wrong with you anymore. It's about just accepting it and being it.
Yeah, at some point you grow the fuck up and you realize that childish shit belongs in childhood. And we can go into that too, which is we allow children to be children for far too fucking long. And it's that whole thing of like, well, you only get so many years as a kid and your imagination is important. And blah, blah, blah. You can be a fucking grown adult and accept that you're not a cat.
I think that has
and
a root
still
in
have
feminism.
imagination. It does.
Yeah.
It has a root in a lot of fucking things.
Yeah.
And yes, that probably is definitely one of them, if not probably the most one. But it's one thing to say, I accept that you have ADHD and you have an issue with concentration. What can we do about that? What can we do to help you concentrate and stay in this reality?
No, I don't know, man. I'm more of
not just, okay, you have ADHD, you get to do whatever the fuck we want. We're going to let you run around in the back of class and completely annoy everybody else and be a fucking moron.
I'm more of the side of like, oh, you've got ADD, fucking figure it out, keep up.
It's exactly what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. Figure it out.
I agree with you. Figure it out. And that's what's funny is because people get so pissed off about the whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps fucking thing. That's what that means.
Right.
It doesn't mean that people don't need help sometimes. And it doesn't mean that if you do need help that you shouldn't ask for it. But that's the thing is once you've received that help to the degree that you need, you take it from there. You go, okay, thank you. I have what I need now. I'm going to continue on taking the tools that you've given me, and I'm going to create this life for myself. That's what the pulling yourself up by your bootstraps means. It doesn't mean fuck everybody, figure it out on your own, you stupid idiot. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't mean that you don't deserve help or that you shouldn't ask for it when you need it. It means do what you need to do for you and take over.
I'm 100% sure.
Don't just sit and let everybody else do it for you.
That I would be diagnosed ADD or ADHD.
Dude, fucking everybody.
But have I ever taken any fucking medication for it? No. I have learned
I think I would
fucking cope with it.
Yeah.
And I don't pay attention to shit because a lot of shit is fucking boring. It bores me. Okay? It just does. It bores me. So, and is that a struggle that I have to deal with on a daily basis? Sometimes, yes. It's like, okay, I have to fucking coach myself. Pay the fuck attention. Listen, this is important. Fucking open your eyes. Stand up if you're in a class setting. Fucking, if you're falling asleep, do some fucking push-ups. Like, come on. Like, I have figured out a way to do it. And on my own. I didn't have anybody help me with it. It's like, figure it out.
Yes, you did.
Figure it out.
Yes, you did.
I don't think society should... I don't like that society recognizes it because then society wants to cater to it because then all of society has to cater to it.
And I agree with that, but that's what I'm saying though, is that we shouldn't be catering to it. We should be recognizing it and we should be figuring out how to lift others up, but don't cater to it.
But if you recognize it, doesn't it give it some kind of power or validation?
So it gives it validation, but it doesn't necessarily give it power. Where it gives it power is where you become an enabler and you let people do silly fucking bullshit and
Isn't
ignore it like it's not
something
happening.
Enabling it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, explain that to me.
So accepting...
Convince me, Dave. I want to hear this.
Accepting and validating that somebody has a neurological disorder like ADHD, where they can't grasp one single thought that's going through their head at any given fucking time. They just can't do it without figuring out what it is that levels them out. Like, you saw Fast and Furious, right? Fucking forever ago, eons ago, same time I saw it. Okay, so there was that one fucking guy and he was talking about there's something about engines that calms me down. Everybody with ADHD has that one thing that they're super fucking interested in, that is their calming agent that can naturally just level them out, and that's the one thing that for whatever reason they have the ability to just grasp and to work with. for me, it's computers. I'm a fucking nerd. So when it comes to computers, I understand them. I know how they work. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm ADHD, but I understand that behavior in which I have 1,000 things going through my fucking mind at any given second, and it's hard for me to grab a hold of stuff.
It's called hyper-focusing.
Right. And I do that a lot. So when it comes to ADHDers or ADHD, whatever the fuck it is, that's where they have a problem with. So saying pull yourself up by your bootstraps, yes, is figure it the fuck out, which is, if you're not a dick about it, it's accepting, understanding that that person has an issue, a neurological disorder, but it's not enabling them. Enabling them is literally creating laws and policy, like special bathrooms where you can go, or allowing dudes who decided to cut their dick off to go into a fucking women's bathroom. That's enabling. You have a mental disorder. We recognize you have a mental disorder. What can we do to fix it or to help you to stay in this reality?
See, what can we do to fix it? What can we do to help you? That is enabling, in my opinion. Figure it out. No, it's your. That's your shit, dude. That's your problem. You have a problem.
Yes.
You figure it out. It's not on me. If you want this job, then this is what I'm telling you need to do.
Okay, so
figure it out. I can't help you. I can't help you all. I'm gonna show you how the job's done. I'm going to make sure that you know how the job's. I'll train you and make sure that you know how the job's done. But then I gotta leave because I got other shit to do.
Right.
And if you're gonna fuck around and not get the job done, you're fired.
Okay, so let's put it this way. What you're talking about is
I'm using job as an example.
Yes. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense.
Right.
So what you're talking about is on a base level. That's everybody, right? And so I get what you're saying, which is we shouldn't everybody on the planet have to dance around you and your mental instability and the fact that you can't cope with being human. So you want to put on a fucking butt plug with a tail and cat ears and pretend you're a fucking cat all day, every day, even though we know you're not. And standing here, me allowing you in the middle of class to go drink milk from a saucer because you think you're a cat, that is me enabling you. What I'm saying is that us recognizing and helping that person isn't necessarily all of us just saying, okay, Johnny, in the middle of fucking class when I'm trying to teach, you go drink your milk from your saucer. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that put that person, if you're their parent, put them into real fucking psychological care where they can help that fucking person realize that's not real. Assuming you can't do it as a fucking parent, because in my opinion, to go along with what you're saying, we've been doing that for fucking eons, because children are fucking stupid and they think a lot of things. I thought that I was I thought I was a fucking dinosaur for a while. When Beauty and the Beast first came out, I wanted to be the Beast. I thought I was the Beast for a while because he was fucking rad, right? Because he was a badass. But then, because nobody enabled it and was like, yes, you're the greatest beast ever. I love you, David. Yes, you can be the Beast. You're the Beast. Nobody did that. And so eventually I learned, like, no, I'm not the Beast. I'm just David. And that's what people, in my opinion, are doing wrong. Stop enabling it by saying, yes, you're the greatest beast ever. You're a cat. You're the greatest cat ever. Drink your milk from your saucer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop doing that.
That's true. I agree 100% with what you're saying, but I'm going more base.
You are. You're very fucking base.
I'm fucking like,
I don't
even want to fucking validate. Like I'm pretending right now, like in my mind, I'm talking to my son, right?
We had the same conversation about bullying, I think, and it kind of falls into the same realm.
Dude, kid, you better figure your shit out. If your fucking mind wanders, you better figure out how to get that shit under control, because nobody's going to fucking do it for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do it for you. And even though we live in a society that enables all that shit and blah, 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 and they'll work with you, and maybe someday you'll find some woman to marry or some job to go to where they totally cater to your ADHD. At the end of the day, you're going to come across situations in life where you're on your fucking own.
Right.
You better figure it out
Right.
on your own.
I think what I'm saying in probably far too many words is that I agree with you. And what people aren't doing is exactly what you're talking about. Instead of saying, hey, you're not a fucking cat, they're doing the exact opposite, which is, yes, you're a cat.
Oh, you want to be a kitty?
Yes, you want to be a kitty? That's so great.
Be a kitty.
Yes. Nobody is stopping to tell that person or that kid or whoever, like, you're not a fucking cat. You're Jimmy. You're a human being. Stop. That's fucking nonsense.
Jimmy.
I'm just too nice about it, I guess.
Yeah. We should take a break.
All right. I kind of got to pee anyway.
Yep. Pee break. Smoke
Pee.
break. Refill break.
Peace, man.